Hello and welcome to my video. Today we're going to build a sun shade for a Garmin GPS display. This fits right in here like this and gives you the shading to keep the glare off the screen. You're going to need some sort of a straight edge. This is an 1.5-inch aluminum bar that I have that really works great. You're going to need a square to make right angles. You need a utility knife. I like that because you're cutting more than just paper. It's pretty thick, so you want sharp blades, and this will do the job. You need a glue gun. A little mini glue gun from Walmart will do good and get you some extra glue strips. You're going to need a small tape measure to give you the measurements you need, and some flat black paint. Get a good paint that will spray on this and leave a flat finish. Here's something else that you're going to need. This is a magic arm with a clamp, and the magic arm comes a couple of ways. You can order just the arm and then the clamp is separate. So go online and look for magic arm, and you want one with the clamp, and it comes with this little end. You're also going to need to order one of these, and these are part of the GoPro mounting stuff. This is GoPro. It's got a flat back. They make a curved back for helmets, and what you're going to do is you're going to mount one of these on the back of this. I offset it so that I could get more of the material here. That is a 3M glue that won't come off, so it'll work fine. If you try to mount it in the center, you're going to have less material to glue to. Now, the way this works, and you'll need this part too, so you need these 3 items. This goes on here, and this will screw in to the end of this. Like that. And then you tighten this up, goes into here like this. And then this mounts on the down arm of the driver's side, right up where the VIN label is, and put you a piece of plastic around so you don't mess up your down bar. Okay, you're going to need to go to some place like that, and in the very back I found 500 illustration board, lightweight vellum, 22-inch by 30 inches. Get you some of that. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut off of the bottom of this. Let's see, we need about 18 inches. I think I'm going to do it this way so we don't waste all of our material. We can make several. I would say cut 2 or 3 strips. You're going to need 2 strips to make this. So you need 1.5 inches and a 3-inch strip, the length of this, like I'm showing you. So you do like 2 or 3 of each of these, and then if you make a mistake or you want to try different things, you'll have other materials to work with and not have to get back to cutting. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the first one and show you the 1.5 inch. This is 1.5 inches wide, so it's just perfect. And what I do is make sure that everything is square all the way along. Okay. Then I can hold this down tight, keeping my fingers off of the edge, because I'm going to use this straight edge as my guide to cut this. Now I just start over here and go around. And one more. I'm putting firm pressure down. And another cut. Checking. Whoa, glasses fell off. Okay, don't pull it. Keep cutting and keep holding a firm cut until she comes across nicely. Okay, there. And it's a nice clean cut. That's my 1.5. I'm going to do another 1.5 and then 2 3-inch wide. So I'm not going to make you watch that. There's my pieces. Actually, it'd be like this. This is one project, and this would be another shade project. This is the base, and this would be the shade part. Now, it's important, I'm going to tell you right now, start with a very sharp blade, a new one. Don't use your old blade that you've been cutting boxes for a week or more, or a year. Start out with brand new sharp blade, and you can probably cut you 4 of these. If you want to do more, you can take this and turn it over and use the other point. But if you do sharp, you won't have to make a number of cuts, and you also will get a cleaner edge. That first one I didn't do it. I was concentrating on making the video. But after you put a sharp blade on, there's the nice cut you will get. So I'll keep that in mind. You see from my mistake right there, that's a dull blade and it tears. So you don't want that. Okay, now I'll take one set and we will start with the other. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to make the base. We'll make a square base around here that this will fit tight into. Now you'll notice I'm going to have this corner starting up here. And the reason being, when I put the shade around, this corner is going to be glued and it will be tight and not pull apart like my old one. See, I didn't have it constructed right. There's the box around the base, but I put my seam here. I should have put my seam up there, and then this would have captured it all. And what I may do is keep this, instead of wrapping it around, I may stop right here, but I'm going to have my seam up there and everything will be good. All right, now take your 1.5 inch strip and you're going to turn it upside down, which will be the top corner. This is the way it will be. And what we're going to do is we're going to leave a little bit over, and what we're going to do is we can trim that later. If we make it too short, then we're in trouble. So I would rather have too much, and we will do it with the idea that when we wrap the other end around, we will cut it to where it will glue at this point. Okay, so judge you a point there, and then put it right up there. Now, this is the way instead of measuring, I like to actually put it on here and make me a mark right up to the edge. That's going to be our bend point. So, what I want to do is I want a bend at this point. So I'm going to take material out of that, and I'm going to go over from this side a little bit because this has got to wrap around. So I'm going to go over about a 32nd of an inch right about there, and on this side of it, I'm going to go over. And that will actually, doesn't matter if it's even up to a 1/4 inch. Experiment. That's why you make a couple and see how it fits. Okay, I'm going to square up the line. And I'm going to pull it over here. Now I've got a nice square line there. Now, I've found short distances we can cut that. You see, we're going to cut down about halfway, so about 2 or 3 scores will make that down to where we need. So I'm going to do it by eye, pressing down just a little firmness, following the line. Then I'm going to do the other side, carefully following the line. Okay, now I can actually see how far I did. I'm going to go one more just to give a, not too hard though. I'm going to, there and there. Now what we're going to do is go in here in the center, or actually I can go right about there, and kind of dig down and pull up and go over here. Okay, and once I get it to the point, I can pull that off. Okay. And you can pull out some of that little trash. I'm just going to show you doing one of these, and then you're going to do this on all of the 4 corners along there. And see what that does is that cuts out half that material. It's going to make it bend easy. Now make sure you always orientate correctly, and then what you're going to do is come over and you're going to bend this up, and after you do it you'll see how it works. Okay, and you keep up with this edge, and then what you do, look at your lines, then you turn it over, holding that up there, and keep this square. Then you make one more mark, and now I go right up to the edge of that, just right there. This is my little center line, and then again I'm going to go over. Actually, I'm going to make a little line right here and a little line right there, and I have to get up and look at it straight. This gives me a nice square. Then I pull. Okay, there's my little area. And again, I'm just going to show you this one more. Now, the last cut is going to be critical, so let me show that to you. Okay, the top corner right here, roll it around, and I've gotten all my cuts. And notice how nice and tight and smooth it fits. So that's a good distance. It's almost a 1/4 inch. Now, see, I made this a little longer, so I want this to fit up underneath there. So what I'm going to do is turn this over like this, and have everything, have it right up to the corner edge. And you want everything tight. Take my pencil. Now this, I want to cut this right on that line. Okay? So this is my line for cut. Right there is the edge, and that will fit up underneath there, as you'll see. I'm going to cut just to the left of the line, just a little bit. So this will be a judgment that you'll work with. If you make a mistake, then redo it. You've got another model. of material. Okay, so there. And I'm going to cut this down right on to the left of that line just a little bit, and I want it nice and square. There. Okay, let's see how she fits. I'm gonna make sure I don't get cut. All right, here we go. Upper, whoop. Let's see. Yeah, like this. So you're working with the back edge, and always keep the same because you don't want to change. And you can make adjustments if you need to. Okay. Okay, see, our joint is going to be up at the top, and it fits very nicely all the way, and you want to pull this tight if you can. And what we're going to do is glue it square, and we're going to have a little bit left over, but with our knife we can cut that. We planned it that way. Okay, see, that's the way it's going to go. All right, so I've got to take my model out. I'm going to probably do me a line right there so I know exactly where I have to glue to. Okay, now this is the way we're going to do it. I'm going to glue it right up to that line like that, squared up, and I should be good. Now we're going to put a run my glue along there, and then put it in there and squeeze it down square as I can get it, and that's nice and square. You can see that. Now the glue dries within about 6 seconds. That's why I like the glue gun. Now we're going to put a back on there, so everything is going to be stronger when the back is on. So you don't want to mess around with that too much. You just want to make sure you got her all squared up, and then we're going to place a back on there. Then we can put it in there and everything will be square and strong. I go right along here very carefully. Make a couple of square passes. Okay. Here's how we can do this to make the back fit really well. And before we glue this in, we're going to cut an opening in here, which I'll show you, but now we're going to just cut the piece. So with our square here, I also found that we've got to round it in here, and I cut a little bit of the square off. And what you can do to get, if this is a 90 angle and mine is, you can put this down here like this and push in and find your point at this point, and then all you have to do is draw this 90 degree, and with the square you should be able to accomplish that. So be careful, hold it, whoop. So it's best to hold it with this finger and that finger, and then, and just lightly, don't push hard, and get you just some lines and up into the corner, and there's our back that will fit right in there. This is important. We've cut this out, and I was able to just follow the lines freehand to do a pretty good job of it. Paint is going to take care of any marks that you make on there. Always orientate and keep this exactly the same way that you measured everything. Like this is the corner that goes up at the top. This rounded corner, which I made at the very beginning, I had to make another one up at the top to get this to fit. The best way to do this is put this in from this angle. Put it, have a flat surface that you should be working on, and then you just kind of push this in and push it all the way down evenly until you get it all the way to the bottom, and forcing it into all corners all the way around square, and then bam, it should be in there exactly the way you're going to glue it in. And then when you glue it, you're going to squeeze everything, and you'll have a nice well finished area on the back. Okay, now there was a little rest that allowed you to set the glue gun like this. I took that off because you can't get all the way into these corners with that on there. So I would suggest, if you have a hacksaw, I used a Dremel. Folks, my camera cut off at a bad time, and you didn't get to see actually what I was doing about gluing, so I want to point that out. I did cut that off, and that allows me to get up in the corners and go around all the way around. But one of the main things is that there's going to be a gap in between all of these points, and you want to get glue in there. So before you squeeze it down, run your line of glue into the crack that's in there, and then squeeze it down, and also at the same time pushing down so that you get a nice tight fit all the way on the bottom like that. And so that's the key to it. Okay, now we're going to make the shade that goes over there. Okay, we're going to make our shade, and it's going to fit over top like this. Now again, you have to orientate the back. This is going to be the back, and this would be the bottom edge. You have to think this out. Let's see, I'm going to do it like this. Okay, here's our top corner, and it's best to figure it like this. So if that's the top corner, I want to go from there, and I want a bend mark right there. So I'm going to make my mark, and here I want enough, so I'm going to go over just a little bit, and I can cut that off later. So this will give me adjustments that I can make. So right there, I want to make me a mark, and I'm going to go ahead and finish this out. This is where we're going to have a bend mark. So I have to do my little bends. Okay, we're going to cut that off, and then we'll have another one over here. Okay, now I've got the angle cut off. There's my top corner, top upper right hand corner, and I've made my relief cuts for the joint, and I just simply pull it around there like that. And I did plan for a little bit extra so I can cut it off later, and I can do my measurements for the other bend point. So I push this all in there, pushing everything tight, keeping everything squared up. Push it as tight as you can get it, because this is how you're going to ensure that you get a nice tight fit. Okay, push her up there. And there's my bend center. Actually cuts off. So hey, I still came out good. Okay, what we're going to do is cut this off now. So it's important that you get this back edge squared away. And I've gotten to where I can just follow that pretty good. Good pressure. Whoop. Probably one more line. Okay, there's our little bat wing. All right, upper right hand corner, like that. And it probably works better to put it like, okay, there we go. Making sure that the corners are right. You're going to start from this right hand corner and you're going to glue this wing side down. But before you just start gluing, you put it up in the corner. You're going to get this, your thumb up in here and squeeze tight so that you've got a good this position ready for its gluing. So squeeze it tight, then lift this up, making sure that you have enough glue. Now this is a new one. I think I got enough to go here, so we're going to do it. Okay, so watch how it goes pretty quick and right down to the edge. Okay, now holding everything in place, I squeeze hard, tight, moving around so that I don't squeeze it out the bottom and stick to the bottom. The reason for holding this is to keep it tight so that this corner is going to be in the right position. So that's going to do it, is start gluing this, because the other is pretty tight. Okay, so I'm going to start and I'm going to zigzag along, squeezing, and all you got to do is make sure you get most of the area covered, and there we go, all the way up to the edge. And then pull this down tight, making sure that push it down and squeeze it. Okay, and this will ensure that you get nice square back. That's important. Okay, now we got one more and we'll do that. And so I'm going to start and I'm going to zigzag across with the glue. And notice I give it an ample amount, finishing up along this one edge. And then before it starts drying, push it down and push the whole thing down and move around, making sure the bottom doesn't get glued. Tight, tight. Okay, tight. All right, push. And there we go. Squeeze. And yeah. Right there. Okay. See, you got to, we're a little bit tight there with I should have pushed down in here tighter, and we wouldn't have had a little bit of gap there. So you see what you got to do, and so you can do it. Okay, there we go. All right, now the rest of the deal is to paint it, and I'm going to go and get this flat back black paint. And Okay, one more test before we paint it. I know you want to see how does this fit in there. Okay, you take and you put it in from the front, and you already have this glued on the back. Put Garmin to the bottom, or whatever you might have. You stick it in there and then just kind of push it in place, and it's a nice tight snug fit, and everything is perfect. And actually when you have your magic arm mounted, then the shade is just held in place by the compression fit, and you've got a nice shade that you can keep the glare, or as much glare as you can, off the screen. So there you go, your shade for your GPS.